Today on Rhylands Rant, you're going to hear a bit of an apology and also to re-steer why. Hardest question of all. Okay, so for today's rant, this is pretty interesting because it kind of came off of one of the last things that I ranted about, and I actually will humble myself that it was a little bit wrong with the perception that I had. And it was just recently that I really looked at why people are doing all these things, like these different diets and these different fads and all this stuff. And I used to blame it on the idea of the secret. Some of it is that people believe, oh, that's what I was missing. I was missing that key aspect to this diet plan that no one knew about. This was the secret. People blaming that. But it's actually even more than that. People want a new template. They want a new idea to chase after. And that's not wrong. I think it was wrong for me to say that that's wrong, because you need a reason to go after something. You don't know if it's wrong or right. So what it really comes down to is trying to go after a new diet challenge. Don't think that's wrong, okay? Just know why you're doing it, okay? And so my biggest thing is understand the why. Understand why you're trying to abstain something. Because otherwise, why not is a really, really easy question to answer. But if you know the why, then the why not's irrelevant, right? You know, there's gonna be some cupcakes out at work. Why or why not? Well, if you know your why, you're on your diet plan, you got this trip you're going to, whatever it is, those whys are really important. But it's very easy to say, oh, why not? I ain't got nothing I'm on. I'm not on Atkins, you know, I'll have those carbs. But if you have your why, you're like, you know what? I told myself I wasn't going to because it's not in my plan. So that brings my next point is create a plan, have it designed by the idea of why. Now your goals are your goals. They're up to you. But you're gonna have sub goals for one big one, but at the end of the day, I think most people really do run off them. I know myself personally, if I don't have an end game, if I don't see it, and I think this came from whether it's school or boxing, but for sure the boxing mindset of you train for so many weeks for this one fight, this one event, and nothing matters until you're done that event. To prove to yourself that you can do the absolute discipline, the right sleep, the right workouts, the right food, and you get to that goal, and then you can relax. And that's a really powerful feeling when you know that that end goal is what's defining you, because that's what it should. You're creating an actual routine in your day that's defining a new character within you. Important thing of the why, though, is make sure that why is also a part of a bigger idea, and you know that why you're getting there, that end goal, you know you got to keep going after it, right? And so I always have this nice analogy. It's not nice, it's actually kind of grim, because it's not easy in this fitness world. It's like life is more or less like a big mountain climb, you know? There's thousands, millions of ways up this giant hill. But the problem with this is like a dirt mountain, and you're either sliding down it or you're trying to climb up it. And it's exhausting to climb up it. But we climb up it when we get so far, but then we get to this one peak and then you're just gonna wanna slide down. But you gotta keep going. And you just gotta find a reason to find a new why. Well, I'm gonna try to do that. And so that's why I say, finding a new why or finding a new diet plan, a new scheme, there isn't anything wrong with that. I was really smashing all these other diet plans, and I don't want to say not to do it. Just make sure that you know why you're doing it is to keep you on point and to keep yourself disciplined. And on top of that, in some place in between, like that transfer rate out of it is actually a really, really important stage. It's what I call the relapse prevention stage. Just because you got to your end goal doesn't mean you go back to being your old self. If anything, you have defined a new part of yourself, a new way of life, a new discipline, willpower, everything is so heightened. Step there and just take a look at yourself and be like, maybe I can keep doing this. And so when you do these other diet plans, start figuring out things that you can take from this, you can take from this, and then you're just like, but this is actually how I could live. And it is really healthy. And I know I've had stuff with that myself, where at the end of this big diet haul, big regimen where I was working outside and I got past it and I was like, normally I would just I would just go get a ton of cookies and just eat cookies today, but what if I didn't? What if I just didn't do that old me? And I used everything I just learned to realize I don't need that in my life anymore. I can just do this routine more integrally as a part of my life, and it's not straining. And so that's what I want you to really think about, is why you're doing it and how it can help you, right? How you can actually pull from the experience of using whatever sort of diet scheme, whatever sort of workout program scheme that can actually make you better, because you're going to need to keep doing it. There's going to be a tomorrow that you're going to want to build towards again, right? So just keep caution as to what you're using it for and how much you can actually use from it. Well, I just had like the Atkins diet, the Whole30 challenge. What else is there? Ketogenic is a very common one. People say ketogenic, low carb, paleolithic, and which is funny because fundamentally, like the Whole30 or like all that stuff, like it all comes down to just you know, eating the proper amount of carbs, eating the proper amount of fats. It's like the macronutrients, which is protein, fats, and carbs, don't change much in those diets. Yeah. For the exception of the Atkins diet, which is like almost zero carbs, but that's always been the battle, is how well people control carbs, right? Yeah. And again, it just comes with a different idea, like just the whole concept of the paleolithic idea. That was really big on branding to me, because it came from CrossFit. And then on top of that, the CrossFit people really said, you know, you want to eat like a caveman, act like a caveman. And it's like, and so it's like, oh, well, that seems logical, because they were such a physical being, physical specimen, that they're like, well, that's logical, let's live like them. Well, no, we're not them. Why would we try to do that? Are you gonna go hunt for, like, we're way better than that. We have shoes. You know what I mean? Like, and so like, but it, like fundamentally, I understand what they're saying. Like, you know, just have berries and nuts. Like, yeah, the diet made some sense, but there's other things in their diet that they could not cook meat. They didn't even know to. They were cavemen. And so you're gonna tell me cooked meat's bad for you? Is that what you're gonna try to tell me? It's, anyways, that goes back to the same idea, is like, people have teams that they want to be on. That's almost a problem with it. But you go to ketogenic, you go to paleolithic or anything like that. Like, if you just do it for a little bit to just try it out, feel it out, I get that. But just understand that it's not the absolute way. You got to try to find your absolute way, is the best way to put it, I think. You know, because, and I haven't even found mine. I find new ways. Every year my diet is so similar, but just a little bit different. I'll go back to my old stuff, and then I'll just kind of, like, I have my basic fundamental things I need in a day, and you just kind of piece by piece be like, oh, you know what, I did like that. That's simple, that's easy to put in my routine, I'll do that. I was like, you know what, like, I tried that. That was really frustrating, and I really didn't like doing that, but I tried it, so. Well, it's like, so your basic meals that you know you want in a day, but it's like what I like out of a day is I love having salads, because salads are a great way to compact a whole bunch of nutrients with very minimal calories. You know, you'll have all kinds of leaves, and you can put carrots or any sort of veggies in a salad, plus your meat source. And then if you have a bit more of an organic salad dressing, it's gonna have healthier fats in it. And put some avocado in there, and that's just like a big meal with so little calories. So I usually have about 2 salads a day, and then I'll have some form of eggs, because I love eggs. And that's usually been a salsa hummus egg delight. That's the best thing. Sometimes to add more fiber in there, I'll put in chia seeds and flaxseed right into the scrambled eggs, because it makes it into a patty. It's really nice. And then from there, I'll kind of like have the filler in between. So those are like my 3 fundamental, but then I'll have filler in between, which would be like just a chicken breast and veggies, if I'm gonna expand more than the 3 to 4 meals a day. And I mean, technically sometimes I'm in 4 meals, sometimes I'm 5, sometimes I'm 6, but it depends on the day and the energy loads that I'm at. It varies. But I would say, like, if I were to keep it consistent and be on point, it would be like a 5 meals a day maybe one's 6, like just a protein shake before bed. And yeah, it's just, I usually, as long as you can keep it mainly meat, a little bit of fat, a little bit of carbs, I almost say even 3 by 30% all the way through. I would say mainly meat and fat. And then I keep it to 300 to 400 calories per meal. Like, I mean, you just think of that right there, 400 calories per meal. You have 4 meals in a day, or 5 meals in a day, that's 2,000 right there. And that's actually, even though it doesn't sound like a lot for a guy, it's like, you know, my size, that's perfect. If I want to lean up, that's what I got to do. But yeah, that's usually my rubric. Find it, the key to it, I think, is just find a rubric, find a kind of base template. And that's honestly, I'm not, like I say, that's why I can't smear any of these diet plans, because that's how I figured mine. Because I tried one, I'm like, you have good ideas behind this that I could kind of work off of, and I always branched off of it, right? Was this rolling the whole time? Yeah. All right, guys, thank you again for watching, all 20 of you. And don't hesitate to ask any questions, and leave a like, leave a comment. That rant I kind of built up on my own. I need more questions. Throw them at me. I love answering questions. Even if I don't know the whole answer, I'll give you a philosophical thought that might lead you in the right direction.